questionable. I know the game is still more than a day away, but what can you tell us to update there?
Okay, the four are KP, right. Dodo,
Trey,
and Luka, all questionable.
Yeah. I'm optimistic on Trey, Luka, and Dorian. KP is working around the clock with Casey and Dion and Valdi and the medical people that are here. And he doesn't want to close the door on playing. But I'm just not optimistic, watching how this is going. We won't know for sure until tomorrow because he wants to leave the door open, desperately wants to play. But it's a tough spot. My hope is that he wakes up tomorrow morning feeling really good, and that he can play. But I would like to be more optimistic than I am.
Okay, what other questions on Zoom? Saad, you can go first. Saad.
Hey, Rick, do you think that just this whole scenario, the opponent that you guys are playing and the scenario in which these playoffs are happening have really helped elevate, kind of put Luka on the map for everybody and kind of, get the attention?
Well, pretty sure he was on the map before this. Look, the shot he hit in Game 4 is an iconic shot, and that kind of event is going to elevate somebody even higher. And so, from that standpoint, look, he's statistically been amazing in the series. He's been, off the charts in our 2 wins. But look, I don't think that there are that many people that know of him now that did not know of him before.
Okay, next up we're going to have Callie. Callie, go ahead.
Hey, Rick. There's been talks of some teams potentially boycotting games in the wake of Jacob Blake's shooting. I'm curious what your thoughts are and what talks you might have had as a team about those scenarios.
Well, I've heard the talks, and I certainly understand the sentiment. It's a horrific event. It's exactly why we're here, in many ways, to continue conversations and to create greater action for racial justice and against situations like this. In terms of boycotting games, I've heard talk from, I know Toronto's team has talked about it. I've seen the Boston players speak strongly about, the situation with Mr. Blake and so on. And I know how our team feels about it. In terms of boycotting the game tomorrow, there are no plans for that.
Okay, next up we're going to have Mark Medina. Mark, go ahead.
Hey, Rick, good to see you. I was wondering, did you get a chance to rewatch the play involving Marcus Morris with Luka? And if so, how did you view that play overall?
Yeah, I was asked this question last night, and I answered it last night, and I'm not going to revisit it.
Okay, next up we're going to have Tim Reynolds. Tim, go ahead.
Rick, I wanted to ask you something in your coaches association capacity. 2 weeks ago, the Pacers extended Nate. He plays 4 games that get decided in the fourth quarter against Miami, and today he gets let go. I'm just wondering what your reaction was, if any, to that decision.
Yeah, it's just shocking, just shocking to me. I don't. It's just very hard to comprehend. Playing against their team this year, they're one of the most competitive teams in the league. I I don't know what the organization's philosophical reasons were, but I know that Nate McMillan is one of the most respected coaches that we have in this league, and it's a very sad situation, and really very, very surprising.
Okay, next up is going to be Mark Followill. Mark, go ahead.
Rick, as we're reminded of with you guys back in the playoffs for the first time since 2016, playoff games and playoff series for that matter are roller coasters of emotions, as we've especially seen in the last 72 hours with an exuberant win and obviously a really, really disappointing loss last night. Are you finding that it's a challenge to have a young team, many of whom, are new to the playoffs, to manage the fact that it is so many feelings of highs and lows and highs and lows? Is that a challenge to get for those guys to understand that, given that it's their first taste of the playoffs?
Well, coming into this, we spoke about this as a team, and really headed into the seeding games, because in many ways that was like an 8-game playoff series, and then we knew we were going to be going into a 7-game playoff series. This is a great experience for us. Game 4 is the ultimate high, and last night is the ultimate low. And right now our job is to bounce back. We've got a resilient group. We've been very, very good at bouncing back after difficult losses all year, and this is going to be a challenging one, but we have no choice. In terms of the group, difficult only from the standpoint that there's a high level of disappointment when we don't play well, and but these are the emotions that are really constant when you get into a playoff series, particularly with an experienced veteran team like the Clippers, and we've just got to respond well tomorrow. That's the bottom line.
Only a couple more. Tim McMahon is going to be next. Tim?
Rick, I know you were asked about Morris stepping on Luka's foot, but another play that's coming in the spotlight is when he slid his foot under Luka as Luka was shooting the three, the kind of the Zaza closeout. Your thoughts on that? Just general that kind of play, and was that a play that you've had discussions about with Luka or at the league level?
Well, look, there's no place for plays like that in our game, and the league has the ability retroactively to look at that and determine whether they felt it was intentional or not. I mean, look, I don't know what goes through Morris's head. I mean, I know he came out and had some tweets last night and whatever. This is something the league's going to have to deal with, and we want to keep all our players out of danger. We want to keep the Clippers players out of danger too. This should be hard competition, but it should be clean competition too. And I know that's the way the league feels, and that's the way we feel about it as well.
Next up is going to be Readiness from Latvia.
Yeah, Reinis Lācis, Latvian news website Delphi. Coach, a question about Kristaps Porzingis. With him ruled out now for 2 games and being questionable for the next, is it primarily about him simply not being ready, or is it more of a precautionary measure with his health in mind?
Look, these 2 games he's been unable to play. So the wording of your question, look, the guy is, as I said a few moments ago, is working around the clock with Casey Smith, Deion Calhoun, and Valdi, who's one of our other trainers, and the medical people here in Orlando. And look, he doesn't want to close the door on playing tomorrow. And we haven't officially. But I'm just saying that as much as he wants to play, I'm just not optimistic that he's going to be able to. And if that's the case, it's going to be because he's unable to, not just simply because it's sore, because he's played with things that are sore, all year. And he's a tough guy. And so, that's my view of that situation. And look, I hope like crazy that, he has a great night tonight, wakes up tomorrow morning feeling really good. That's not out of the realm of possibility. But I'm just saying today that as hard as he's working on this and as much as he wants to be out there, I'm not personally not optimistic about it. And so we'll see where we are tomorrow. I hope I'm wrong.
Okay, and our last question is going to be from Davide. Davide, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. As tough as the game was yesterday, is there anything you can take away from it and use it to prepare for Game 6?
Yes, there are many things that we can do better. That's obvious. In our wins in the series, we're averaging a little over 10 turnovers. In our losses, we're averaging close to 15. In our wins, we're over 50 rebounds per game. In our losses, we're a little over 38. I mean, those are possession stats, and that's average of minus 19 possessions in our losses and plus 19 in our wins. That's huge, and so. And look, live ball turnovers are the worst. I mean, there's nothing worse for your defense or your overall game performance than that. And so we got to cut down on those. We got to rebound better. And there are some things from a coverage standpoint that we feel we can improve on. Clippers are, they're a terrific team, very deep. They've got two superstar players. But we've got to do more things to make it as hard as possible on them.
Okay, thank you, Coach. We'll see you tomorrow. Appreciate your time.
Thanks.